Hey everyone, it's Matt here, and today we're doing another review. In this case, we're talking about Ultraman Z Episode 2. So, when looking at Episode 1, comparing the two, I do enjoy Episode 1 more, but I really do enjoy how much backstory we got for not every character, but for specific characters. It's interesting, by the way, looking at certain characters that we got either some background or at least a little bit more about who they are today. It's interesting to note, and I'm just going to throw this right out there, that when it comes to Shota, who I know names now, by the way, so things are getting real, with Shota, who's actually a superior officer to Haruki, and he kind of reprimanded him a little bit. Not the older gentleman who was actually the ring creator on, I don't know why I put up two fingers, the ring creator in Kamen Rider Wizard, not him, the one who reprimanded him afterwards, and then he also went to the toilet. Interesting. He went to the toilet at the end of the first episode. I'm under the impression, I think I mentioned this last time, I should have anyway, that he's possessed either by a monster, like Monster Boy, who sadly we didn't get to see Monster Boy, or Monster Man, I don't know. He looks like he could be anywhere from 18, like 16 to 18, all the way up to 35. I don't know sometimes when it comes to television, but either way, he was absent from this episode, sadly, but I'm okay with that, though, because you don't need to build up everything in every single episode. Especially when you have I believe the series is going to go up to 26 episodes, I thought? Or is it going up to the full 50? I thought it was 26. But either way, jumping back to Haruki's superior named Shota, when looking at him, I'm assuming he's either possessed by a monster or he is possessed by an Ultraman. And I thought it was Taro at first. It might be Zero. It would be interesting if somehow Zero found his way back and both Haruki and Ultraman Z don't know it yet. Also, happy to learn more about Z, but as someone who is interested in Ultraman but isn't really, like, I've seen a few Ultraman here and there. I'm not brand spanking new, but every now and again I forgot that I've seen certain Ultraman shows. So clearly I've been interested in the show for a while now, for maybe 7 years now or so, but again, haven't seen every Ultra under the sun. So when you have Ultraman Z appear, and then he says, oh, I'm actually like 5,000 years old, I'm a little confused, because I'm wondering, so are there a bunch of Ultraman and Ultra Kids? I remember seeing one of the Ultra Kids that was like a compilation show. I've made jokes about that before when I do Toku Station News. So when you look at the, like, do they just grow up into the Ultramen? I'm sure there was an Ultra Women. I'm sure there was a movie about that or something like that a long time ago that I probably haven't seen or haven't heard of. But it is interesting to note, only because of the fact that, you know, you'll see like Mega Monster Battle, and you'll see like, oh, you know, the newest Ultraman on the scene is Zero, but I've never really heard their ages stated out loud, so it was a funny moment, both for Haruki. I love their dynamic so much, because now Haruki looks at him as if he's an elder, so he has to give some kind of reverence to him, and Zet is just like, dude, please stop. Please don't. And then, of course, when you have, let's see, there is a Yoko, who she is the one piloting Savenger, who I still love. What a good boy that random giant robot is. What a good boy. But either way, so we have Yoko, who pilots the robot, then we have Yuka, who actually creates all the special devices. I love that she's like this mad scientist, and she can only do this, you know, she can do great things even with a limited amount of time, but even then when she hears about other great things that are happening, I forgot what it was some specific thing that was like, oh, you know, we'll be able to do this coming up or something. It was like some ad or something. No, some news report, rather. And it was hilarious because she was like, I could make that, you know, if I wanted to. So it's very, very, very fun atmosphere from her. But looking at, when mentioning Ultraman Z's age, looking at Yoko, she likes older guys, which, cool, good for you. Apparently, though, she has no limit. You would think it would stop at, like, you know, maybe like the 70s or the 80s. No, she's going into the 5,000s. And again, you do you, boo. But 5,000 years old, I still can't believe that was just said out loud, because, you know, I never know what age range a certain toku is. Like, I look at Super Sentai, and it's always for kids. And I know some people out there are like, but Matt, I watch Super Sentai. That's fine. That's cool. I do too. But even though there's differences in what Japanese television airs, and also, you know, the time that some of these aired in prime time. So even though that's the case as well, it's still Super Sentai that's meant for children in Japan. Kamen Rider, I feel like, you know, initially was meant for kids, and then once the Heisei era hit, it was just kind of made for quote unquote everyone, you know, mom, dad, who was ever home with the kid, watching with the kid, you know, bam, you can also get your hot men and your hot women in this show, and also drama to kind of push the show in a way that, not that kids shouldn't have in their kids shows, but just coming at this from a US perspective, looking at US kids shows, it's just a very different beast looking at something like Kamen Rider. So, you know, again, that I feel like it's for families, very much like Doctor Who. And Ultraman, I never know. You know, sometimes it feels like Star Trek, which was, you know, was for kids too. Sometimes it feels like just something different. And in this case, just having that joke about her liking older men, I was like, oh, okay. So this, you know, not that it's not, you know, for children necessarily, but again, like it's just it feels like it's appropriate for all ages, I guess. But there was still all that sweet merchandise, so that you should buy, consume the merchandise. Watching it through Subadai's YouTube channel, they left all those ads in. The mobile ad though really gets me upset because I'm like, hey, Subadaya, could we get some of that? I mean, I talked about a mobile game that actually is going to have an Ultraman cameo. I talked about that on a TokuStation article, but on the show there. But still, it would be nice if we got this specific Subadaya game that looks really good that we're probably never going to see. But either way, though, the reason why I mentioned it really does seem as if Shota is actually possessed by an Ultraman is because the way he both trained and hit Haruki felt like he was trying to teach him a lesson that, because it tied into the theme of the episode and the monster, it really feels like he knows something that Haruki does not know, that we the audience are not supposed to know. I know a lot of Toku will just have moments like that and we're supposed to just sit there, and I believe it was Kamen Rider Go that said, do not ask adult questions. just you know, do not ask those questions. Basically, you know, the joke is just suspend your disbelief, essentially. But in this case, it feels very deliberate, and it feels like there's a purpose, and there's a reason why he is specifically doing it. So it would be very interesting to see where that leads, and I'm assuming there is an Ultraman possessing him. Again, my money is on either Taro, or, because I believe it was Taro who trained Ultraman Zero in martial arts. So if it's not Taro, then I think it would be Zero somehow. Obviously, again, I don't know how he got sucked into the fourth dimensional space, I believe, or the plane. I don't know too much about that. If that's actually something in Ultraman lore, please comment down below. I know that I believe it was Negora, the monster of this episode, has been in previous Ultraman episodes and series. I could swear the one from from episode 1 also was, but my memory is a bit fuzzy with that monster. But no, I'm loving. I still love Savenger. I can't get that adorable robot out of my mind. But I enjoyed the fact that no one gave Haruki shit for him coming back and just being like, look, you know, this thing, man. And they're just like, yeah, dude, it's like, I feel like in previous Ultraman, they'd be like, well, what were you doing? And he's just like, well, it was invisible. And they're like, that's no excuse. And there would just be some tension. And I like that there was no tension there, because it's like, yeah, he's invisible. What did we expect you to do? Because obviously nobody knows that he's Ultraman. Also, I love that the device that he has, the fanny pack, basically. And sorry for the UK viewers who just heard me say that. It hits me every time. I'm like, oh no. But either way, the pack that he had that has all of the cool merchandise that you should consume in it, that it can't be seen by humans, but I'm very interested to see when someone there who works for Storage, by the way, you know that their name is Storage, someone that works for this agency is going to see him and is going to comment on it, and he's not going to notice until, like, because it's him, so he's going to take him at either sometime between a minute to an episode to be like, well, wait a minute, hold on, I think that they shouldn't have been able to see that. So that'll be very interesting to note as well. And again, overall, you know, like I said just in the beginning of this review, I like the first one better, just as someone who loves to see the action, especially the way it was all shot and composited. It was beautiful. But this one, I really just enjoyed because all the questions needed answered either from newer Ultraman fans and even from someone like me who I'm sitting around and I'm like, so what is Zero's or what is Ultraman Z's deal? Like what's going on with him, you know? So I'm happy that this episode did touch on that, and I can't wait to see what's coming next because again we still have Monster Boy somewhere out there who's possessed. We still have by the way I should also mention we had a return to form in a sense having an electric monster because even though it's not a monster, this one is one that I've heard of before but not really seen before. But electric monsters just doing some damage in whatever town that they're in. I mean, that's something that's been a staple of Ultraman for like freaking 50 years now in the first few episodes, at least the ones that I've seen. I've always seen some type of electric monster just destroying power lines and whatnot. So the fact that it was actually taking energy from Savenger was quite interesting. And also they mentioned, I don't know if it's in their canon or if it's in the entirety of the Ultraman canon, but the fact that Savenger is the first robot to be created by humanity. It seems like that's something that's just an Ultraman Z canon, but it would be very interesting if that's true overall because everyone that I've seen, it's always just been jets coming in, just we're gonna fight the monster. Okay, we're dead. So Ultraman, you good? And Ultraman shwats onto the scene. That's not the right sound effect. What is it? Is it shwatch? Svat? Zubat Sanjo. Watch, yeah, that's the one. Either way, so love this episode. Tell me what you think down below. If you like this episode, if you like where this show is going, if you don't, if you agree with my points, if you disagree, or if you have something that you really want to mention, please down below. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, as always, you can still like and subscribe either way. I will not judge you. You can hate watch us all you want. It confuses me, but I won't judge you for it. So, love you all, take care, and tune in next time when I talk about Ultraman Z 3. Alright everybody, see ya.